Today I will explain you how to insert records into a table in the Oracle database using Java and VS Code, that is Visual Studio Code environment. So you need to have the Visual Studio Code environment. So if you have that Visual Studio Code installed, you can just type and will get like this Visual Studio Code. Click that, and this is the environment for your Visual Studio Code. And you can see I have so many folders. So like this, you can create one folder, and I've given clear information of how to create the folders in my earlier videos. So please go through that. And here I have the main folder called Java VS1. Under that I have a lot of subfolders. Now before going to the actual application, I'll show you the database where I've created one table in my previous video. You can just go through my previous video for how to create a table in Oracle database using Java and VS Code environment. So you need to have an Oracle database, and you have, once you have the database, you have like run SQL command line, SQL prompt. So just click that, and this is the environment for the SQL prompt. Now you need to connect to your Oracle database. So you use the connect keyword, and here my username is system. And at the time of installation, it is going to ask you what is the password. So what password you have given, the same password you need to give. So I'm giving my password for Oracle. Now it is connected. So here I will show you the table what I have, which was created in my previous video. The same table I'm going to take now. So if I go for describe student DB, I have created this table, DSC for describe. So it will show the structure of the table. That means it is existing. You have a roll number, and the data type is number and 3 digits, and SM is for student name, and varchar 2 and 20. So that is a string. So if I want to check whether any records are existing, so I'll type select star from student DB. What's the table name? So star implies all rows and all columns. So if the records are existing, it will display. Otherwise, it will say that no record selected. So you can see no rows selected. So that implies that we don't have any records into the student DB. Now I will write a Java program. Through that, I'll insert 3 or 4 records. And when I compile and execute my program, that it need to connect to this particular Oracle database, and it need to insert the 3 or 4 records what I'm trying to plan to insert into this table need to be stored. And once we type again select star from student DB, it need to list out the records. So as of now, there are no rows selected. So I just minimize this window. I go to the VS Code environment, and here I have Java VS24 as one folder. Just select that and right click, and here you have a new file. Now you give the file name. So I'm giving insert records.java. This is the file name, and press enter. Now here you need to go for the JDBC API, that is java.sql. So I'll write import java.sql.star. Okay. Now the class I'm taking insert records. So better to keep the class name and your file name same, so that it will be easy for compilation and execution. Now in this main method, so public static void main string arguments. Then now here I need to go for try block, because there is a possibility of getting exception of class not found and SQL exception, where I clearly described what is class not found and SQL exception. Why do we get in the previous video of the steps in database correction. Now the first step is loading of drivers. So we write class.forName. In this, you need to write Oracle dot JDBC dot driver. Okay. Now here the driver is a predefined class. This is available in driver subpackage. Driver is a subpackage for JDBC. JDBC subpackage for Oracle. So here this particular driver class we are trying to load to your application. So in order to do this, you need to download one jar file, that is ojdbc 6.jar. Then that you need to set for the class path. So this also I mentioned in my previous video, what is the jar file name and what is the path you need to set for the class path. Okay, so if you don't download that ojdb6.jar and set to the class path, this particular driver class file is not going to recognize, and you get one exception called class not found exception. And now this is a string parameter for a method called forName. Now this forName is a static method from a class called class. So there is a class called class. So you can see here capital C. Here you can see there's a small c. This small c is a keyword. This capital C is a predefined class. So this forName is one of the static method from this class called class. So forName static methods basically are called without the help of objects. So if the static method is available in the same class where the function has been calling, then you can call it directly. If the static method is available in different class and your function from where you are calling is in different class, then you need to call the static method with its own class name. So I am saying that the forName is available in class called class. So and it's the static method, then it is calling with help of the class. Now I need to create a connection reference variable. So I have a connection interface and con is a reference variable for that. Then driver manager is one of the predefined class in SQL. Then there is a method called get connection. And here I need to write JDBC colon Oracle colon thin colon at the rate of localhost colon 1521 is a port number for your Oracle. Then X is for the Oracle engine. Now here, now this is one parameter of string. Then I need to go for the second parameter called username. No? System is a username, and put a comment at password. That is the Oracle installed password. So I'll write the password what I've given at the time of installation. Okay. So here now this JDBC colon Oracle colon thin is a sub protocol. I'm writing a localhost, and thin is representing for the type 4 driver, and the localhost is nothing but it shows that your database is also resetting in the local system, that is in a current system where your application is running. And 1521 is a port number for Oracle. Then X stands for the Oracle engine. Now this complete path as a first parameter, and username what I was connecting now, that same username, and the password what I have given, that password, and this password is for Oracle database password. Don't give other passwords. Now I need to work with the SQL statement, so I need to go for statement interface. Now here I need to use con, that is the second step. Con I'm using here, and I'm calling one method called create statement. Now this line basically is creating the statement reference variable, and statement is an interface. And we are calling create statement method in order to create a statement that is from the connection class, connection interface, not class. Now, why we are creating this line is basically used to call the SQL statements. So the next step, st dot, we need to write one method called execute update. So I clearly mentioned in my previous videos about this statement, like when you write execute update method, apart from select query, you can write. Okay, so here my intention is to insert records. So I'm writing insert into student DB is a table name, right? And what you want to insert some values. Then here I'm writing some 101 and put in single quotes some name. Okay, and close that one. Now similarly, I can just Copy this. Then one more 4 records I'm trying to plan. Okay. Now here what I'll do is I'll just change 102, then 103, then XZ I'm keeping, then 104, then YZ. Some names. Okay. So this you need to keep afterwards. So how many? Totally 4 statements I'm trying to incorporate here. And I'll write one statement for our confirmation that system.out.println records inserted successfully. Okay. Now this is for our confirmation. Okay. Once you everything all 4 records are inserted, now you get this message on the command prompt. Okay. Then close the try block. Then go for the catch block. Before going for the catch block, so just you need to close in the try block. You need to close st.close statement and con.close. So that's the reverse way what you are following. Now after try block, you go for catch block. Now here I'm going for exception. Then I'm going for a method called instack trace that has been called with help of the class reference variable, that is a exception class reference variables, so that it prints the complete error message. Then you close the main method and the class is closed. So this is the way how we are going to write your application. So here we have imported the package java.sql, because this connection interface, driver manager class, statement interface, these methods all are available inside SQL package. So that's the reason we are giving. Then we go for insert records as a file name and the class name, and the file name is also been same. So it's better when you go for compiling and running, we will use the same name. Then main method. Then in the try block, loading of drivers is the first step. Then establishment of connection, where you give user ID and password and the port number of the Oracle. Then we need to create a statement because we need to work with SQL queries. So if you don't create this one, we cannot call a execute update method. So we need to compulsory create this statement. So con.create statement is a method for creating a statement reference variable. Now this execute update is a method, and inside that method we need to write the select. Apart from select queries, we need to write so insert into table name is student DB and values and 101 XYZ 102 PQ, and here you need to give single quotes. Don't give double quotes here. Single quotes you need to mention. And once we've done this, I'm printing records inserted successfully, and I'm closing the statement reference variable and connection reference variable. So which is the latest one we have opened, that should be closed first. Then finally, if any problem is there, we need to go for a catch block, and here the superclass for all exceptions. And here we need to call a method called print stack trace, which is going to display the complete error message. Now we'll try to execute this, save this first, then execute, and we'll see in the database whether it is done or not. So we have a run command here. So we got class not found exception. Oracle JDBC.driver. Oracle driver. It's not driver, Oracle driver. We need to make a correction here. It's Oracle driver. Now we'll save it. And here we have a run code option. Just click that. Now you can see records inserted successfully. Okay, records inserted successfully. So here the Oracle driver is a class. Okay, you need to make a correction here. Oracle driver is a class, not driver. Okay, then you got the output. Now we'll see the command prompt of SQL, and again we'll run select star from student DB. Now we are expecting here 4 records to be inserted, right? Now you can see here 101 XYZ, 102 PQR, 103 XZ, and 104 YZ. So here I'll show you the code also. 101 XYZ, right? So here also 101 XYZ. Then 102 PQR, 102 PQR, 103 XZ, 103 XZ, 104 YZ, 104 YZ. So all four records are inserted. Now earlier there were no records, but now through Java program, I'm trying to insert. So when I compile and execute my program, it has been inserted. So this output is not that much important. You need to just cross verify in this one. This is most important for us. So here, ultimately, what you're trying to do is you're trying to connect to the database, Oracle database, through programming by using Java.SQL API and its concerned class and interfaces. And we are connecting to a table called StudentDB, and we're inserting records. So this is the way you need to insert records into the Oracle database table and through Visual Studio Code environment. So I hope I have given some input on how to insert records into a table of Oracle database using Visual Studio Code environment. If you like this video, do comment, subscribe, and share it to your friends. Thank you.